could be making your symptoms worse. I had a conversation with a woman a couple days ago, and I've been talking on Instagram, TikTok, just about how nutrition was a really big solution for me when it comes to getting rid of my symptoms. I lived with MS starting from the age of 22. It was 2005 when I was diagnosed, and 22 is pretty young. I didn't really know what to do at first. I didn't know that there were other options. And I was someone who was raised to believe that if there's something wrong with your health, you go to the doctor and they'll have the solution for you. So that's what I did. And taking your doctor's advice at face value without questioning it can be the worst thing that you could do for your health. And I'm not saying that doctors are wrong. I'm not saying that doctors don't have a lot of value. When it comes to emergency situations, absolutely. If I broke my arm, if I got injured, something that needed to be fixed, toot sweet, I would go to the emergency room. I would go to my doctor for help. But when it comes to the recurring things, the symptoms that keep coming back, there's often they can miss the mark here. And I understand, I completely understand because that was me too. And feeling that you can trust your doctor completely. You should never question your doctor. They've been through years and years of education, and it's natural to believe that they know what's best for you. But what if we take a closer look at this belief? Did you know that doctors are trained to manage symptoms, not to look for the root cause of health issues? For example, if you had something like chronic fatigue and you went to your doctor, they would give you something to give you more energy, a medication to boost energy rather than figuring out why is your energy low in the first place? What's draining the energy from your body? This is where with muscle testing we find there can be underlying infections. Your body may need to detox. There could be heavy metals. Oh, I don't have a parasite. There could be parasites. There could be mold. There could be so many things that your body is trying to address and just isn't able to on its own and needs some support. So if you're just going in and you're getting a medication to give you more energy and not addressing the underlying issue, this can make things worse. This was my experience living with MS. I went to my doctor and the doctor said, let's put you on medication. And so I went on medication. I injected myself every day. I ended up going on one later that was 3 times a week, so not every day, but that was because the medication was getting stronger because the first one wasn't giving us the results that we wanted. And then I had other side effects from the medication. I was at the point I was falling asleep when I was driving home from work. So I went to my doctor and he said, okay, let's give you something to keep you awake, something they normally give to narcoleptics, people that fall asleep. So I'm on this other medication, then I couldn't sleep at night. So then the solution was, oh, let's give you some medication to keep you awake. But it was just like this constant cycle of, okay, there's a new symptom. Let's give you another medication to deal with that. And I wasn't getting better. We were chasing the symptoms that the first medication was, or the side effects the first medication was causing, but it wasn't actually helping me get better. And the woman I talked to recently had said, you talk about nutrition, you talk about how nutrition helped you feel better, but nutrition isn't a cure. And I agree. 100% I agree. Nutrition isn't a cure, but there are a lot of conditions, there are a lot of illnesses, problems that people live with that there is no cure. So if there are things that you can do to help your body naturally, is there really any harm there? Are you really missing out? I decided that I couldn't continue living the life I was living if I had to continue to have worse and worse symptoms and had to keep going on medication. I was in my 20s and my doctor was telling me you're going to be in a wheelchair before you're 30. And I didn't that's not the life I wanted. And so when I started making changes to my diet, like this was a multi-year process. This was not a like, oh, things are better, no big deal. I cut out donuts. I stopped eating donuts once a week and everything is fixed. This was trial and error and figuring out what is causing my body to have the reactions that it's having. I started changing my diet in 2011. So more than 10 years ago. And it's been a never-ending process of figuring out how can I make things better? How can I continue to find ways to support myself? And anytime there's nutrition change, anytime there's diet change, yeah, it's effort. And some people, that's a really hard concept to take on and to accept because, yeah, it's going to take some work from you. Sorry. But if you can live without the symptoms that you're living with, and all that it means is that you need to make changes to your diet, isn't it worth it? I've been symptom free since 2016 from being a girl who the doctor was saying you're going to be in a wheelchair. My brain was not functioning properly. I was a retail manager at the time, and I would go into work and I would sit in my office and I would dread if an employee or if a customer came in and asked to speak to the manager because I had brain fog like next level. If you're someone who's deals with brain fog, I can't even explain how bad it was. I knew in my mind what I wanted to say, and then it was like bleh, when it came out of my mouth. It made no sense. And so customers would ask for a manager to front cash, and I would come to front cash and try and have a conversation with them, and they would like look at the employee like, "That's your manager?" And when that happens over a long period of time, you start to second guess yourself. You start to feel dumb. You start to not want to be social. It can lead to isolation, not to mention the lack of energy. The lack of energy was huge. But anytime we're dealing with anything health related, we need to figure out what's causing it. Because if there's a leak in your roof in your house and you're just like, it's okay, I'll just put a bucket under it. It's no big deal. I'll just keep emptying the bucket every day. And you're not dealing with the leak in the roof, things are just going to keep getting worse. And the same goes with our health. We need to find ways to figure out what's the root cause. And that's where working with a holistic practitioner can be really beneficial. We do frequency testing, muscle testing at Align Natural Health, and it's all about finding what are the organs and glands and systems in your body that are not functioning optimally and why. Is it parasites? Is it heavy metals? Is it mold? Is it stress? Is it radiation? How many people are in front of computers, have a cell phone on them at all times? A common question that I ask clients all the time is, where is your cell phone when you're sleeping at night? Beside your bed. How many of you would say beside my bed? It's the most common thing I hear, and it's like, "Well, it's my alarm clock," and it's, "Oh, well, if someone needs to get me and it's an emergency, it's beneficial and it's convenient," is one of kind of the biggest things that is common with lots of things, with eating different ways as well. And but at what cost to your health? Can you leave your cell phone in the bathroom? If you have an ensuite bathroom, could you leave your cell phone in there? Would you be able to hear it if your alarm went off? If not, I'm pretty sure Amazon has alarm clocks that are like really cheap. So you could replace that. And then for the fact of what if people need to get a hold of me, if your phone was in the other room, would you hear it? Right? There's little things we can do from a lifestyle perspective, from a nutrition perspective, from a mindset perspective that will make a big difference to your overall health in general. So if you're dealing with health problems and you're going to the doctor and you're frustrated because it's just like, oh, here, take this medication, or your blood work comes back as normal and you get the, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. Or my favorite I had from a gynecologist several years ago, maybe it's all in your head. What? If you're feeling symptoms or if you're experiencing anything that's getting in the way of living your life and you're not getting the answers that you want, it's time to dig deeper. It's time to find someone who's going to help you figure out what's the root cause of the problems that you're dealing with and what does your body need to get back into balance. And that's where muscle testing, frequency testing is very beneficial and we can help you. So, what can you do instead of continuing to follow this path and finding yourself in a cycle of increasing medications and its own set of never ending side effects? And this can lead to deterioration in your overall health. What can you do instead? It's essential to take an active role in your health. That was one of the biggest turning point moments I realized for me. I used to raise money for the MS Society because I thought, this is the perfect solution. They're going to come up with a cure, and one day I'll be able to live without this illness. And I was raising money one year for the MS bike ride, asked my best friend, will you sponsor me? And she said something that was like a knife in the heart at the time, but was exactly what I needed to hear. She said, I love you. I will absolutely sponsor you, but they're never going to come up with a cure, right? And that was hard to hear. And I had to think about it for a little bit, for a couple days to get over being angry and hurt and upset and frustrated. But when I did think about it and reflect, I realized, you know what? She's right. She's totally right. I've been waiting all these years for this knight in shining armor to come along and rescue me. And what I need to do is take personal responsibility. I need to take things into my own hands and ask, why is this happening? And what can I do? What can I do to help my body get better? Because you do have so much personal power when you stop handing your illness, your condition, the problems in your life to someone else and expecting them to fix it and take personal charge of that. There's so much you can do. That was the time that nutrition showed up for me. It's not that it was not there in the past, but in the past, I wasn't aware of it. I probably heard about it and I was just like, "No, no, no. I'm doing everything I need to. I'm taking my medication. I'm going to all the MRIs. I'm being the model patient. I'm doing everything I need to do." And that moment, that flipped a switch for me and suddenly nutrition was like, "Oh, okay. This is something I haven't explored. Maybe this is something that will help me." And I'll tell you, I committed to 30 days of a completely whole foods diet, cut out all the crap I was eating, had to learn how to cook. And in 30 days, it was the first time in 8 years that I'd felt my health move in the right direction, in the direction I wanted. And all I did was change my food. I made drastic changes, don't get me wrong, but all I did was change my food, and it was the first time I felt a shift. It wasn't massive, it wasn't night and day, but it was in the right direction for the first time. And I was like, "Holy crap. If 30 days of changing my food can do that, what else can I do? And what if I stick with it longer?" And to be honest, I haven't there's things that I still don't eat. I don't eat vegetable oil. I don't eat seed oils. I don't think I ever will again. I don't feel the need for them, and I don't believe that they're beneficial for my body. There's other things as well, and so if you're looking at ways to naturally support your health and thinking, "Oh, I'll just do this diet for a couple of weeks and see if it works," and it doesn't, maybe it is working and you just aren't able to see it because you haven't given it a long enough time. If the nutrition perspective, I mean, cleaning up your food is never gonna be a negative. Sorry, I hate to tell you that, but you can't go wrong by making changes to your diet. But if it's not giving you the results you want, we need to figure out what else. What else is going on? Is it emotional stuff? If you're dealing with a lot of stress in your life, are you in a toxic work environment? Are you hanging around toxic people? There's so many things that can cause your body to react not the way that you want it to. But it's a matter of persistence, and it is gonna be something that you're gonna have to commit to for yourself. But if you think about it, you're committing to yourself, right? And so this is the question that I have for you. I mean, this might involve working with a holistic nutritionist. It might involve exploring alternative therapies or making lifestyle changes that support the body's natural healing process. Your body is always trying to heal itself. If it can't, if it's not, there's either something getting in the way or there's something missing. And that's my favorite riddle. That's what I like helping people figure out, what's getting in the way or what's missing. So now my question for you, do you want to keep relying solely on the symptom management medications, potentially worsening your condition and leading to more health complications? Or are you ready to take control of your health? Are you ready to dig deeper into the root causes and start feeling better naturally? If you're ready to take charge of your health and explore holistic options, send me a DM. We can set up a free discovery call. Let's have a conversation. Let's see if you're someone who qualifies to work with us. We've helped hundreds of women deal with symptoms that keep coming back, deal with being frustrated because they're not getting the support that they want. They're feeling unheard. And when you work with us, that's the biggest thing that we hear at the beginning is, well, it's like, I feel like finally someone's listening to me, because often we are dismissed. We are disregarded when we have concerns, especially as women. And this is something where that won't be the case. So if this is you, send me a DM. Let's chat.